What's it actually like to live in Atlanta, Georgia, and how is Atlanta different from other cities in the country? That's what we're talking about in this video coming up. Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. My name is Victor. I'm a licensed real estate agent here in Georgia, and in this video we're talking about what it's like to live in Atlanta, Georgia. If you're thinking about moving to Atlanta or just have any questions about what it's like to live here, feel free to call me, text me, email me anytime. I'm more than happy to help. I love making these videos about my hometown, but more than that, I love helping folks get acquainted with Atlanta, Georgia. With that being said, let's get right into the video. Man, Atlanta is my home, it's my favorite. Obviously, I've got a bias for Atlanta, Georgia. I love living here. I didn't really always live in Atlanta, Georgia. My family and I moved here like in the mid-90s. And really, a lot of people moved here in the mid-90s as well. The mid-90s was when Atlanta had the Centennial Olympics. And it was really the Centennial Olympics that put Atlanta on the map, really showed the world how awesome Atlanta is. It's funny, if you ask anybody who lives in Atlanta, most of the time you'll see, if you ask them where they're from, you'll see that most people who live in Atlanta aren't originally from Atlanta. Atlanta is filled with people who realized how great Atlanta is and have come here to improve themselves or to improve the community around them. And so, man, Atlanta is an amazing place filled with some badass folks who really want to make a better life for themselves. And that's really one of my favorite parts about living in Atlanta. We're so blessed to have so many amazing people living here, and not just that, so many different cultures and so many ethnicities represented here in Atlanta. I think it's kind of a misconception for a lot of people to think of Georgia as really just being like one culture, but the truth is Atlanta has so many cultures here in Atlanta. And we are so fortunate to have that. It's the Atlanta motto to rise up. It's kind of a cliche thing that we say here, we rise up, but you'll find that that's really what the people of Atlanta do. And that's what the people of Atlanta have always done. We're used to overcoming obstacles, and that's really one of the best parts about Atlanta, Georgia. The city of Atlanta has about 500,000 people in it, but that doesn't really include the cities that are around Atlanta, which are included in Metro Atlanta. If you include all of those cities, it's more like 6 million, which makes Atlanta and Metro Atlanta one of the biggest cities in the country. Also, Atlanta is kind of like in the northern part of the state, and so really we're just about 2 hours south of the North Georgia Mountains, which is a popular vacation area for people who live here in Atlanta. And we're just about 3 or 4 hours from the coast in Savannah. So we're super close to the mountains, we're super close to the beach, which really makes Atlanta geographically located in a great area. Real quick, some of the main roads that run through Atlanta, obviously the interstates 75 and 85, Interstate 285 is another one, and then Georgia State 400 is one of the main highways that runs through Atlanta as well. And then we have a running joke here in Atlanta about the Peachtree roads and how many peach trees there are in Atlanta, and that's true, we really do have a lot of peach trees. There's Peachtree Road, Peachtree Street, West Peachtree Street. Also, Northside Drive is one of the main roads that runs through here as well. And when you're driving through Atlanta, it's really easy to feel like Georgia is mainly high-rise buildings and commercialized, but it's only on those main roads that you will find all of that commercially zoned buildings and the high-rises. Away from those main roads, the majority of Atlanta really is residential. And another interesting characteristic that makes up Atlanta, especially considering other big cities in the country, is just how much green space and how much trees there are in the city of Atlanta. When it comes to parks and green spaces here in Atlanta, we really do have a lot of options for that. Piedmont Park, Centennial Olympic Park are some of my favorites. Right by Piedmont Park is the Atlanta Botanical Gardens, which is a great place to visit. And then by Centennial Olympic Park is the World of Coca-Cola. The Georgia Aquarium is there. The Georgia football, the College Football Hall of Fame is also there. And so we really have lots of activities, lots of things to do here in Atlanta, especially outdoors. And so that's one of the best parts as well about Atlanta, Georgia. Now, as I said earlier, most people who live in Atlanta don't necessarily live in the actual city of Atlanta. You'll find that when someone says they're from Atlanta, it's very possible that they live in one of the metro cities around Atlanta. I know that's the case for me, and so that's a much more common scenario for people who live in this area. Like I said, Atlanta has 500,000 people, but all of metro Atlanta is closer to 6 million. And so it's very common for people who live just outside of Atlanta to work in the actual city of Atlanta, which is one of the reasons why we have so much traffic here, unfortunately. Many of the main roads that lead directly to Atlanta are packed during rush hour, which is why Atlanta is so known for having bad traffic. Again, it's the people who live on the outskirts of Atlanta, but who are working in Atlanta. And so the roads to Atlanta in the mornings are very busy, and the roads heading out of Atlanta as well are very busy during rush hour traffic. Most of the cities that are around Atlanta that make up Metro Atlanta are mainly suburban, whereas the residential areas inside Atlanta are more urban. The lots are smaller, the areas are much more condensed. You know, you don't, like I said earlier, you don't necessarily need a vehicle if you live very close to the city center. Everything is so close you can walk there. But in the cities around Atlanta, you certainly would need a vehicle to live in one of those areas, as those areas are not nearly as condensed. They don't have as many people. And so the walkability around Atlanta is not nearly as good as the walkability in the city center of Atlanta. Since the population of Atlanta is 500,000 and the areas around Atlanta make up 6 million people, it's pretty clear that most people prefer to live just outside of Atlanta and then either work in Atlanta or come to Atlanta for certain activities. Obviously the Hawks and the Braves, the Falcons all play in Atlanta. The average home value in Atlanta is about $350,000, but I think it's important to remember that the range of home values in Atlanta is very wide. There's a wide range of ages of homes and styles of homes in Atlanta, and so while the average is $350,000, there's really a lot of homes that are in the low 200s up into the millions. And so if you're thinking about moving to Atlanta, living in Atlanta, you really have to be very specific about what part of Atlanta you're wanting to live in. And then the average home value in the cities that are around Atlanta, while there's a big range as well because there's so many cities involved there, in the city where I live in Marietta, the average home value here is probably about $300,000, so less than Atlanta. I would say most of the cities that are around Atlanta have an average home value less than the actual city. I think that's pretty normal for most big cities in the country, and another reason why so many people live just outside of Atlanta and then choose to work in the city. Hey, hope y'all liked the video. Again, if you're thinking about moving here or just have any questions about what it's like to live in Atlanta, feel free to call me, text me anytime. All of my personal contact information is in the description below. See y'all in the next video.